Hey everybody, it's me, Sai, and today I'm doing a new type of video. I'm making a tier list. Something very original and fun. So, and I'm doing it off my favorite thing, Fire Emblem. So I'm gonna just, go ahead at it. I'm gonna start with the first game, FE1. It's FE1, like it's a classic, but it's just, it's FE1, so it's really dull and clunky to play, especially after playing the newer games. It, like I'd say I'm gonna put it in a C because it's the hallmark of the series, but it doesn't stand up as it would today. I mean, yeah. And honestly, I feel the same way about Gaiden because like if Gaiden didn't exist, we wouldn't have Shadows of Valencia. But at the same time, it just trying to play that now is hard. Now, FE3, I'd say it's a pretty alright game. I would probably just put it with the other two, except it is a little bit better, just presentation-wise and overall graphically and just everything. So I'm gonna put it into B tier, but I'm a bit iffy about it. FE4 is honestly probably one of my favorite FE games, right beside FE7. But I'm gonna say it does have its flaws, and it can get pretty annoying at times. But I'm gonna put it in A tier because, well, Genealogy of the Holy War is a really fun game and probably has one of my favorite stories. It also is just really long to play, and if you screw up far enough in and you don't like save state or anything, it's just pain. Next up is FE5. FE5. Nah, I'm just kidding. FE5 actually is really fun, but at the same time I'm garbage at it. So it's like I'd have a lot more fun if I was just better at the game. I'm gonna give it a B tier because it's a good game, but it also it aggravates me to no end. The anger that is produced by this game is just a lot. Alright, next up is FE6. FE6 is weird for me because I really like the game, but at the same time it kind of gets dull at points for me. Like I have trouble going back to the game because the start of the game feels a little bit dull for me. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But I'm more of an FE7 guy, so I'm gonna put it into B tier because it's not bad, but it's pretty good. But it's not amazing. Next, I'm gonna hit you with FE7, S tier, because it's the best game in the series, and I honestly don't care what you think. It's the best game in the series. Don't even try me. A tier also goes to the role of FE8 because that's like one of the best games, but not as good as Genealogy or FE7. So it's behind Genealogy, which also I'm gonna put FE6 and Thracia like that because FE6 is overall my favorite of the B tiers. It's almost A tier, but not close enough. And Thracia, it's good, but I want to kill a baby sometimes when I'm playing that, dude. Like I would honestly go into someone's home after playing Thracia and just strangle their baby, dude. That's how that game makes me feel. I'd do it. You don't believe me? I'll go right now. I'm going. Alright, well, the court has decided that I will be under house arrest for trying to strangle a baby. But now back to the tier list. I know you guys were waiting for me to come back from that. Next up is Path of Radiance. Probably, it's like Genealogy and Path of Radiance are like both my second favorite in the series. So it's a really tough choice, but I feel like Path of Radiance is just a little bit better. Well, it's just more like, I feel like it was just Path of Radiance. I liked playing it. Like even in the early game, I like the early game. Where early games of Fire Emblem can sometimes be dull for me. I'm more thinking about like Sacred Stones or like FE6, where like I'd say like the first few chapters, it's just kind of like I have to like get into the zone. It's kind of like with FE4 where it's like you don't just pick up and play FE4, but with Path of Radiance, it's kind of like one where you can just pick it up and play. Because I've had this like save file that I've been jumping back on and off of for like months. Still haven't beaten it because I'm fucking lazy. I've beaten Path of Radiance, don't get me wrong, multiple times. It's just this current save file. It's just like, you know, you can come back to it. But now, speaking of things that you can come back to, Radiant Dawn is not one of them, in my opinion. Which also, Radiant Dawn has a special place in my heart because I actually played Radiant Dawn before I ever played Path of Radiance, and my only experiences with Path of Radiance was watching someone play it on YouTube. So I knew the story of Path of Radiance, but I never touched the game. So Radiant Dawn was my experience and my opinion of Path of Radiance characters. Like, man, Astrid is the worst thing ever. Hey, Joffrey's pretty cool. You know, well, Joffrey's still pretty cool, no matter what, but Astrid and Effie, Path of Radiance is fucking... If you put the time in, she's actually good. Like, I thought I'd do it for shits and giggles, and it was like, wow, she's actually one of my best units. Obviously, it's like an Est character, so she's going to turn out well. And honestly, there's probably better characters I could have not put as much effort in, like Shinon. But, you know, but overall, I've rambled up and down about Radiant Dawn. I want to put it in the A tier, mostly because I've probably played this game the third amount of times out of all Fire Emblem games I've played, rivaling Sacred Stones, and that's saying something with how long Radiant Dawn is. So I think I'm gonna I'm gonna put Radiant Dawn right after Sacred Stones and right before Genealogy in the A tier, because while its story, yeah, is a bit times, and honestly there's some chapters involving the Dawn Brigade that make me want to hang myself, just actually. But next on the list is Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, which honestly I am going to put in D tier because I don't like Shadow Dragon. It's not fun to me. It's just not a fun remake. It feels like FE1 but worse almost somehow. Like, and I know that's weird to think, but it's just, I don't have fun playing Shadow Dragon at all. Like, I hate playing Shadow Dragon. Like, every time I've ever played Shadow Dragon, like, I'd say other than like the first couple of times, I have not had fun playing Shadow Dragon. For some reason, I've had more fun playing the first game or the redo of it on the Super Nintendo than I have this modern day DS remake. Now on the other side of the coin, FE12, that's A tier. Honestly, if I didn't love these games, like FE12, that is a beautiful game. It's just so much fun to play. Like, sure, this is pretty cool, but this is where it's fucking at, dude. FE12, hell yeah, dude. I fucking love FE12. I don't even care if Chris is the most boring main character since Corrin, even though he came before Corrin, but he's just, I love him, and I love that game, and I love the little tiger hat you can get him, and then that time when you can wear the Wendell hat, or that time you can become bald. I'm pretty sure Reese lets you become bald. It's been a while since I've played, but God, it was so much fun when I did play it. Next up is Awakening, which is actually probably my second most played Fire Emblem game, even though I probably do not like it as much as others, or a lot of people. Like, this game is actually really fun to me back in the day. Like, today I can't play it. Like, I think I've just burnt myself out of Awakening permanently. That's just what point I'm at, because I played it so much when I was younger. Like, FE7 I can keep coming back to, but Awakening I've tried, and I just can't. I try and I play it for an hour, and I'd be like, alright, time to put this away for another few months. I just can't. But it used to be really fun, and honestly I love this game simply because it saved the series. I'm gonna put it in the top of C tier, because if you talked to me back in 2014, 2013, I would probably have it in A tier, but it's gonna be in top C tier because it's almost B tier, but I honestly physically can't force myself to play it. I just don't have fun playing it anymore. I've just burnt myself out of Awakening. But next up on the list is what we're gonna have the most fun with. We're gonna start with the worst Fates game, Birthright F. You act like this is a question that has to be asked, but Birthright is just not fun, story wise, gameplay wise. It's just boring. There was a cool part. Not really. Okay, I had fun making a meme out of Elise's death. I'll put it in if I still have the video for it somewhere right about now.
Very well. You will die fighting for your cause. I shall defend my homeland! Elise!
And then you'll all be like, man, that was a really funny joke. And I don't have fun playing that game. I was at the final chapter, and I remember I was just about to beat it, and then I died to Garen. And, like, I think, like, Corrin died to Garen, and then I just kind of, like, was like, oh, I'll come back to it later. I still never beat Birthright. I never finished Birthright. I knew the ending because I got spoiled on Birthright's ending, and I just didn't care enough about Birthright. Because by the end of it, I was just like, I don't like any of the Hushidan characters. That's kind of a lie. I do like some of them, like Ryoma, Rinka. That's really it. Maybe Hana on a good day, but it was just not fun. I didn't like it. Now, on the other side of the coin is Conquest. Conquest was also bad, but it wasn't as bad as Birthright. And it's one of the only Fates paths, it's the only Fates path actually, that I will take the time and actually play. Kinda. Like, I have a save file, and I think I'm at chapter 12. And I kinda just stopped after a bit. But overall, it's a C tier, right under Awakening, where it's, while Awakening I have trouble coming back to, Conquest I actually tried to come back to, and I'm kind of having the Awakening problem, where I actually enjoyed Conquest when I first played it, but then I kind of looked into the story more, and then I kind of was like, wait, no, this game's fucking awful. The gameplay was alright though. So I give Conquest somewhat of a pass. Like, if Conquest was the main game for Fire Emblem Fates, and they just worked on the actual plot of it, and actually made it like if they just made Fire Emblem Conquest, I would have taken that. If this was the 15th Fire Emblem game, 14th Fire Emblem game, I honestly wouldn't have been that mad if they just, maybe focus on that and didn't make Birthright and then the $20 DLC. That made me, I had to spend $100 on Fates, not including the Seasons Pass, and I still regret that to this day. I will never get that money back. I will never get the time back that I spent playing the DLC, which I actually like the DLC, which, back to Awakening, was also a reason I really liked Awakening, was its DLC, and the fact that, like, literally you just fight against a horde of characters from better Fire Emblem games. That makes me sound like a fucking elitist, but it's like, I really, really liked that DLC, like, where it was like, hey, Arvis, I'm Chrom, and I'm going to help you kill Sigurd, and he's like, cool, and then that's the DLC. It was a lot cooler than I said. Alright, and then next, Revelations, it's F tier, but it's better than Birthright F tier. I honestly, Revelations was cool until you went to Vala. Then it was just not fun because most of the chapters were just filler. Then you had the one where you had to kill your parents, and then you get to learn that Azura's your cousin, and ironically enough, that was the game I chose to marry Azura because I was like, why not? She's the main character person. I already married best girl Felicia, and I think in Birthright I made Corrin a female so I could marry Kaze because he was cool. I liked Kaze. Number 5 Starman, Heroes out. I'm getting there, buddy. I'm not. I'm lying to him. Just don't tell Kaze what's going on, okay? He's really insecure. It's really sad that I never made another female Corrin to marry him because I only did it once because I wanted to experiment. Just don't tell him. And now the final game on our wonderful, wonderful list of Fire Emblem games that are good. Not good, but I mean, like, honestly, I'm debating putting this in F tier, but I'm gonna keep you in D tier. But we're talking about Shadows of Valentia, which honestly, story-wise, is probably one of my favorite Fire Emblem games, rivaled by Path of Radiance, Genealogy, and Blazing Sword, and kinda FE8. Kinda. Sorry. But Shadows of Valentia is just, it's a really well-made Fire Emblem game, in my opinion. It took Gaiden and worked on the things that were bad about it and made it good. Sure, it kept some things, like 60 Avoid Graves. I won't get over that. But it added some cool things that were unique to the game, but still, like, made it feel like Fire Emblem, And it had a lot of unique things, and it was just a really fun game to play. Like, when I was playing that for the first time, I had so much fun experiencing the story, experiencing all the new stuff. Because when I played this, I hadn't played Gaiden yet. So it was kind of like a new experience. I didn't know what I was running into. like I knew the story of Gaiden, but I didn't really know like what playing Gaiden was like. And honestly, this game is kinda like Gaiden, but at the end of it, it's not Gaiden at all. It's like it's almost like its own game, more than a remake at points. It's just simply how like, but at the same time, it's still Gaiden, in a sense. Like, I can't just say go play Gaiden. It's like playing the same thing because it just like the voice acting. Like, I'm gonna say this right now, made this game like even better than it already was. Like the story was already really good, but like when you hear Berkut saying "Oh lies, lies, lies," like that fucking was beautiful. Okay, I'm just focusing on Berkut, but that game was fucking great. And while Blazing Sword, Path of Radiance, Genealogy are honestly way more up on my list, I gotta put like Shadow of Valencia's in the A tier, right in between Radiant Dawn and Genealogy. Simply because it's just that good. Like, I haven't played a modern Fire Emblem game where I was just so enthralled with it. Though, what's keeping it from going into S tier or above Path of Radiance or Genealogy is the lack of replayability for me. Because I just don't feel like there's a lot of replayability. Like you get to use 90% of the units most of the time. Like there's not a lot of variety other than, hey, I'm gonna make Gray a cavalry, or I'm going to make Tobin a mage. Like, you know, it's like you get to change up with your villager characters, and if you want, maybe you can change up some with the free villager pitchforks. But it's just like, other than a few random class changes, and I guess maybe putting more time into other units, or maybe playing on hard, which, like, I played it on normal and hard, and that was kind of it for me. It was like, it kind of has the FE8 problem, or like a lot of like the problem for a lot of them Fire Emblem games, where it's like the early game's just really hard to play through because it's kind of dull. Like, the first map is just, you know. But at the same time, going through the caves and stuff is fun. It's a weird experience, because, like, after I played through it, I wanted to go through another playthrough on hard, and I couldn't do it. I feel like Shadow of Valencia is a game I like to come back to when I want to just experience a good story, and also a fun game. Because, like, it just... I know I'm like pausing a lot, but it's just really hard to describe how I feel about this game, because it's like, it's kind of like Genealogy. Like, if you do a playthrough, there's the chances of you wanting to do another right after are low, because it's such a just trek, and it takes so long to do it, feels at times. And then also at the same time, like, I don't play this game unless I'm listening to the story or reading the story, because I just don't feel any like attachment to the game at that point. I don't know why. It's really weird. Like with Shadow Dragon, I was able to just play the game, even with the fact that the story was limited. It was just... Shadow of Valencia is good. That's all I have to say, because if I keep talking, I'm going to say what I have said for the past 5 hours over and over again. But this is pretty much my Fire Emblem tier list. If you think I'm wrong, you're wrong. I'm right. I'm the gaming master. Yeah, that's a fucking lie. But yeah. But tell me what you think about my tier list in the comments. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I both? At the end of the day, just remember, Fire Emblem Sims is the best game in the series. Fuck you.